Everybody's talking about AI, but not enough people are talking about responsibility. This conversation isn't about fear, it's about preparation. My guest today helped redefine modern music with Snarky Puppy, built his own voice with Ghost Note, and is now focused on what comes after success. Recorded live at the 2026 NAMM show inside the Warm Audio booth, this conversation is about legacy, leadership, and the future of music. This is Robert Sput Searight.
TrevBeats Show, TrevBeats Show. Yeah. TrevBeats Show, TrevBeats Show.
What's up, everybody at NAMM? How y'all doing today? My name is Trevor Lawrence Jr. Have a little podcast called the TrevBeats Show every Saturday, 4 p.m. Today we're doing a special NAMM live version, and we have none other than my dear friend, one of the great keepers of the guard in this, especially on the instrument of drums, but just in general in this modern day music, shaping it, moving it around, Mr. Robert Sput Searight, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
Good, man.
Good to see you.
Great.
Yeah. So, we all know you, man, as an incredible musician that came out of the church, a drummer. Now, to your credit, probably the first 10 years I knew you as a keyboard player.
Because you was playing drums.
But I was like, bro, it's like it blew my mind. But, as a drummer, man, you've done so many things. One of the things that we all talk about and associate with you in modern day history, of course, is Snarky Puppy and Ghost Note. So as an architect of Snarky Puppy, how did that happen? Well, how did that start? Like, what was the conversation that led to, wow, we need to do a, change fusion and merge it with all these different musics and funk and create something for this new generation? How'd that happen?
Actually, so I'm from Dallas, Texas, born and raised in Dallas, Oak Cliff.
Yeah.
But so North Texas, University of North Texas is a great school. They have the first jazz degree. They offered the first jazz degree back in the day. And so a lot of the cats is coming down there to go to school. And we would do this. At the time I was on the road with Snoop. I left Snoop Dogg and I was on the road with Erykah Badu. And her band is a trio, me, R.C. Williams, and Braylon Lacey. And we would do these jams in Dallas. And these kids would come over from the school, from the university to the jams. And one dude, the bass player, was Snarky. He was the band leader, and he was like, I got this band. I want you to come check it out. And so I went to go check out a gig that they did, and they had a right playing with them.
Wow.
So
wow.
I was blown away by the music. It was real fusiony at the time, like real, smooth combo, real good compositions though. And I was like, anything you need. I had the studio at the time in Dallas. I was like, anything you need, I'll just holler at me. And so he needed a keyboard player. I didn't expect that. I was like, come by the studio, He needed a keyboard player. So I ended up going on the road with them for like a year.
Wow.
And we recorded a record at my studio called Bring Us Bright. Long story short, after that, I played drums on the record.
Oh, wow.
So after that, the drummer moved to Japan. So I ended up having to just jump on drums after playing the keyboards. And so I'm gonna tell you how the music shifted, because I didn't really know all of the arrangements of the mod meters on drums.
Right.
So I just put the backbeat on everything.
And that changed the energy.
Changed the whole energy. And of course I was doing some harmonic structure, stuff like that. But we just started, and then the music started getting written like that, So, and everybody started playing like that, because now you got the influence of Ron Hargrove, Bernard, everybody that was in Dallas. Lucky Peter, everybody, Buddy Miles, everybody that was in Dallas at the time.
Yeah.
Was just pouring into the band.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing, because it grew into, it's like, man, there's a whole new generation of age group and and kids that got awoken to jazz music, what do we call that? And it's like it's now opened that up. I mean, to where now you have Ghost Note, you have all these festivals that are now having a whole new energy for instrumental music. And I think that Snarky Puppy has a lot to do with that.
Yes.
Now, from Snarky Puppy, you started your own situation, which was Ghost Note.
Right.
So how did that come to pass?
Well, I mean, it got to a point where I was, I was hearing more things. I was hearing more things and it wasn't my band. So I had to curtail a lot of my ideas and thoughts because at that point the band had blown up.
Right.
I was hearing another thing. Because we hit a pocket and I wanted to keep going that way. And I realized that if I really there's an option I can go and do my thing.
Right.
And you just got to be confident and you got to believe it can happen. You know? So at the time, me and Corey Henry was in the band together with Snarky, and we talked to each other. We were like, "Yo, let's do a side project," you know. And he was like, "I was thinking of doing something like that too." And so we did a tour for like 15 days. We called it the Detour.
Oh wow!
We've been gone ever since.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then both of y'all, you know, Ghost Note and then
Funko Boss was the same. We started the same day.
Yeah, so Funko Boss is going crazy. I mean, that's amazing. And you're also in the interim of doing that, though, we're still awakening this whole new generation because, you know, traditional jazz as a certain thing kind of started getting a stigma on it. You know what I mean? And we had left the fusion era of the 90s, you know, maybe early 2000s. So it kind of took the best of both of those worlds and brought it back together. And I went to your show on Monday night over in LA. And I mean, it's all young people, but they're engaged and they're there to hear the music.
Yeah.
You know, which is an amazing thing to accomplish in this day and age when we have so many things in front of us. You know what I mean? To get people to spend their time to come listen to instrumental music. But that brings me to another point, man, because I've known you for a long time. And I know I'm a productive guy and I don't hardly sleep. But you, man, it's just unbelievable to see the amount of stuff that you bring together. And I spoke to you the other night at your other event, which was the National Black Music Coalition
Ultimate
Drum Challenge. And that was an incredible event. That was at Center Staging. You had these incredible drummers that went through these stages, you know, and you know, I was blessed to be a judge of that, see some incredible new talent. But the scope of the event, man, it's like, this is happening in the same week as that and the same week as NAMM. What's your time management like? And what is your situation when it has to do with like your thoughts on putting the right team together?
Well, I mean, you try to find people that have like minds, you know, and people that are willing to do the work. You know, we're artists. So we need the other people. Other people are important.
Right.
The administrative people that are graphic designers, I try to connect with them people. Right. Videographers, because they document lives. You know, in a way, like we have an opportunity in this time of living to document life in the most iconic ways.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And you know, social media also, I mean, like you can, something can be this small, you can make it look like this, you know? So, but if you get the right people around you, I mean, like, unlike back in the day, it's just like, you know, iconic things were happening every day and it was never documented.
Right.
So, but somebody had a bootleg tape and now that's the standards now.
Yeah, right.
Our heroes never played themselves again.
Right,
but
that's right.
Bootleg tape, they all came together, it might have been a jam session or something. So I'm always trying to connect to people that are doing the other things so that we can always collab.
Yeah.
And every now and then you'll run into the right group of people that believe in the same things.
Yep.
You know, we're trying to help impact the community, the younger generation, because there was a bridge gap somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, between the internet, you know, learning music and the education of learning how to be good at your craft. Everything changed, you know.
Yeah.
They didn't have to go to the library anymore. They didn't have to check stuff out anymore and return it. They could just scroll on the internet and say, or they don't need a private teacher because they can learn on the internet.
Right.
You know, so it's the educational part is changing now. So that's I really believe that I wanted to, you know, I really believe that was a way to connect to the young generation where we can actually go back and mix some of that up a little bit where we can actually pour into them and get them the right tools to be great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's another thing that I will say. You always are interested in the community. Like, I know there's a lot of drummers, a lot of people that don't even know. There's a lot of drummers that have come up kind of, you know, like not super officially, but under your tutelage, you know what I'm saying, that have come up and shadowed you and learned a lot from you and hung with you, that became big sensations in the drum world. You know, I don't want to name names, but there's definitely a lot of people that kind of went through the Sput school. And
like the mentorship.
right, mentorship, yeah. And it's like, you know, the one thing that you just said that makes a lot of sense is that with all these different people being able to document in the way we have social media, we are getting a lot more content than we ever would have seen in generations past.
Right.
And I believe that speaks to an overall arc of what we're seeing. The paywall of things is leaving us. So we don't have to spend 10 grand on a video anymore.
Right,
So what it's doing, or music, or a session, what it's doing is allowing the creativity to not be outshadowed by the lack of resources. So to me, that makes us have to speak about the big elephant in the room, which is AI, right? So AI is coming now. It's helping in so many different ways, visually, music-wise. I mean, what do you see? Well, we have there's that school. I'm glad that happened because that school is existing. You have people that are on one side of it. It's very polarizing. And on the other side of it,
yeah.
What's your take on where we are right now with AI and what you think the future is? As a super creative, what's your take on it?
Well, I call it amplified intelligence. It's not, I don't call it artificial. I call it amplified intelligence because it just amplifies things. You know, it just amplifies whatever you would be doing.
Right.
I mean, you think about it, we've been, you know, hey, it's been around for a long time.
Yep.
And I can't get in the car. I can go somewhere that I know I've been before and I still pull out the GPS.
Right. Exactly.
You know, I mean, like it's been around.
Yeah.
You know, every time we do something quicker than we would normally do it,
right.
It's AI. It's
right.
been there. It's
right.
been there the whole time.
Yeah.
So I've always understood that something like that was coming to our field.
Right.
This is like how we're going to use it. But man, I'm not one of those that hate on it.
No. Yeah.
Because I feel like, you know, there's ways. First of all, if you're in the studio, there's times when you're as a songwriter, as a producer, you get writer's block, and you can't find. I've had to take vacations to get the vibe back.
Right.
And, you know, and because no one is spitting ideas and out at you. You know? And in situations where you can utilize, where you get all these ideas that come from you basically. Right. Because you're feeding something and it comes back to you. This is just a way you can use it where it could really help grow you. Right. And I'm finding these things out, you know, just experimenting with things. And yeah, I'm excited about it actually because I was introduced to Suno. Yeah. And I was introduced because somebody came to a concert. And he came to a concert. Good run. And he Suno'd a piece of our set. Right. And then he sent it to me and he was like, man, this is killing. I was like, what is that? That's killing. What is that? And he was like, this is Suno. He was like, this was inspired by y'all. Right. I was like, send me the rights to that. He was like, no, that's you. I was like, what? And so I understood the whole thing. And I like, now I'm telling you, I took parts of it. What was recorded from my concert. Right. And what was like the options given. Right. And implemented into our set. Come on, man. Right. And, nobody knows. Nobody cares. You know. Yeah. It's a part of the writing now.
Man, listen. And that right there is the overwhelming consensus from people that are actually making a difference doing music at a level. Yeah. I hear, you know, there's a lot of keyboard warrior stuff and a lot of people that have a lot to say. So I implore those people to back it up. Don't use a cell phone. Don't use Pro Tools or any DAW. Don't use a digital camera. Yeah, don't use any samplers. Like, it's just this is where we are right now. At one point, even I've been at this convention 33 years. So even in this building, there were things that were cutting edge. The year we had ADATs, all the tape people were like, oh man, but then it became the standard. Yeah. The year we came here and all this stuff was DAWs. We saw this building be built that's pretty much all electronic music. Yeah. So to me, if we're gonna push the evolution of music, let's not be that. We have to be honest and say that this is a tool. You know what I mean?
Well, it's an old saying. You either get with it or you get left.
Come on,
but because it's coming. You know, it's already here.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing too, is like the educational piece, because you know if some people don't like food because they never taste. Right. Literally never try it.
Right.
And then they go their whole lives saying, I don't like it, I don't like it. Then people ask them, well, what it tastes like to you?
Yeah.
They have no clue.
Right.
And so this is the kind of the same thing that's happening, and but it's educational. You meet somebody that you really respect and they tell you about it, and those things, these things you can be educated on something that you never, from a perspective you never had before. And I going back to the National Black Musician Coalition, that's kind of the whole point of it, is like to educate people on things like that, because like they're the next generation.
Yeah.
They don't buy into it. They could very well miss their whole career.
Yeah.
Career, so I'm definitely excited about, all of the new things that are happening every year. It's like coming to an episode. You know something that's new. You just walk around all day just to see what's going on. What's new? Who did? What's the new thing? Because you don't want to. I mean, like everything is relevant now.
Yeah, I mean, and that philosophy also. That's a true creative philosophy. Like, I spent 15 years of my life playing drums with Herbie Hancock. And very publicly, when he did Rocket, the other community wasn't really feeling that. Matter of fact, I remember we did a concert at Lincoln Center, and the write-up the next day was like, we would have liked to see him on a piano with a trio. It's like, man, he did that 50 years ago.
Right.
He's pushing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that mentality of it's terrible and all that. Man, most of those people don't use it, don't know how to use it. And I have a philosophy, if you were dope before AI, you'll be dope after AI.
Yeah.
So let's not use it as an excuse and a crutch for inequities.
Yeah.
Let's just be more creative.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So tell me what you have coming up that, you want to talk about. Any products coming out, anything like that? I know you have sticks. Yeah.
I got sticks, but most importantly, I've been touring for a long time. For the last 10 years, I've been going. Like
yeah, man. Yeah.
I think with my band, we're gonna tour up into the early summer months, and then we're gonna take the rest of the year off.
Got you.
And I'm just gonna work on music. I'm doing a lot of solo projects myself.
Right.
Taking some time to give myself some love. Some help. Keep myself healthy. Pay attention to that side of my life, and enjoy being a grandfather.
That's right. Oh wow, crazy, man. Crazy. Oh wow, crazy.
I'm trying to enjoy that, and just enjoy life in a different way.
Yeah.
But now that I'm able to not have to work all the time.
That's right.
Just enjoy it, and enjoy the creative side of things.
Yeah, I mean, Spud, you've been pushing the line. I mean, I've known you, over 20 years, but man, I just got to say, you've been pushing the line. I mean, you were out with Toto, when we had to go, console our friend. You know what I'm saying? It's like you pushing the line, man. And I think, first of all, break is definitely well deserved. But I still want to get back to this arc of community, because that's something I want everybody to understand, is that you can still be creative, you can still be an artist, you can still have a family, but you don't have to be only concerned with yourself. You do a tremendous amount of outreach and trying to uplift the next generation.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like that's what, if we don't do that, it's going to stop.
Well, I want to be able, when I get older, I want to be able to enjoy music.
Yeah.
And that, so I like to be a part of helping myself be able to enjoy music later on. If I just, if I can help this generation in ways, because, it's, like I said, it gets crazy when there's no mentorship and there's the people that came before you, you don't know the history.
Yeah.
And the history, I believe in that. The history, the lineage and the legacies. I feel like everybody, this generation, it's not taught in college all the time.
Sure.
They're taking that out of school. So I think we're the ones to do it.
Yeah.
So you see somebody take a picture with you and they're like, hey man, who's your favorite drummer? Did you know this about him? Hey, check this out. We know all the information. So
right.
We can just drop the knowledge, and drop a gem to them just in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And I believe in that. And I believe that if we continue to do that, everybody's going to be fine. But I do have a personal bias motion in it, because I really do want to be able to continue to enjoy this thing that I've only done in my entire life.
Yeah.
Never had a plan B.
Right.
I never had another job. I've literally made money all my life playing and being a musician.
That's right.
An artist. So
yeah. And that's the thing, not just saying it, you're actually putting your hands to work and doing it. So for that, I really have to commend you, man, because a lot of people sit back and say, this is what needs to happen to the new generation. And this is what they need to do, but not giving anything. You know, you're supplying a need. You're seeing a need and you're doing something towards it. This is like a shameless plug moment. You have anything you want to plug?
Yeah, well, the Zilton Live, we used to do the Zilton Live thing. Now it's called Sput Live, Sputtacular Live.
Nice.
And every month, we're going to release a video. We did a concert Wednesday where we featured artists. And
Nice.
It's like an art, like showcase where we just jam. I write music for it, and just different types of artists. And I write the range, actually. And it's every month a video is going to be released, so stay tuned for that.
Okay, cool. Well, one of my shameless plugs is also a thank you to my family here at Warm Audio, Lori and Aubrey and Bryce and all my crew. You know, they really pull up. You know, we've been out on the road and there's a real family environment. These mics sound great, by the way. I don't recall the model number, but the Retro 64, these really sound really good.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great mic, makes a great podcast mic also. Yeah, it looks great too. Very retro, old school vibe. You know what I'm saying? As far as shameless plugs, if anybody has a iOS device, Apple iPhone or a iPad, my app released a few days ago, and it's a prompting and captions assistant. I know a lot of people know about AI like ChatGPT or the surface level, you know, Claude, Chat, Gemini, maybe Perplexity. But what separates the results is your prompts. So my app is called the PromptDucer. It's on the Apple iOS store right now. And it allows you to put your type or dictate your prompt in that you're just going to say in regular words, fill out a couple drop-down menus, and then that prompt that you copy and bring over to those sites, it'll help you hone in your actual results a lot better. So it's just a prompting assistant. And for those of us that do social media, we know that the different platforms have different character counts for the captions. So the caption assistant allows you to put in your caption and specify where you're going to post it, and it'll adjust it for each of those different sites. It just helps you save some of the work, you know, and because we had an app out and because I think in a different way, we released the album to go with the app. So the album's called Tech Support, and that came out Friday as well. So, you know, we always trying to push forward. You know, Sput is very inspirational to me in a lot of ways because he's a drummer, but a lot of people don't know he could not play drums at all and be a keyboard player for his instrument, you know. So it's like, you know, Renaissance thinking and that high skill level, man, is something that we really need to keep going. So I appreciate everybody that's been watching this. Please take this information and go back to your schools and to your next generation, your communities, and get people to get interested in the history of music and the different types of music. And please do not run away from AI. It is not going back in the box. Please, everyone, please, at least learn the surface level of it, because next year at this convention in this room, I guarantee you're going to see a lot of AI. So let's not kid ourselves and think that somehow we're just going to wake up and be back to using tape. That's not going to happen. So, you know, Spud, thank you very much for coming, man, and doing this. Warm Audio, thank you all for having us so much. And, you know, we'll see you on the long form interview.
If you're still waiting for permission, you're already behind. What stood out in this conversation isn't what Sput's done, it's what he's actively building. I want to give a massive thank you to my brother, the incredible Robert Sput Searight, and thank him for sitting down with us at NAMM. We talked about so much, from the architecture of Snarky Puppy and Ghost Note to the importance of mentorship and actually passing that history down to the next generation. But I really hope you all caught that gem he dropped about AI, amplified intelligence. Like I always say, if you were dope before AI, you'll be dope after AI. It's a tool, not a crutch. So let's not run from it. Let's use it to push the evolution of music forward. Make sure you keep an eye out for Sput's new project, Sputtacular Live, dropping new videos every month. You don't want to miss those. And just a quick reminder on my end, if you're a creator looking to sharpen your workflow, go check out my new iOS app suite, which includes the PromptDucer app and the My AI app, available in the Apple App Store. They're the perfect companion to the new EP, Tech Support. And of course, big love to the family at Warm Audio for always holding us down. Now, before we get out of here, I have some really exciting news for this community. You might have noticed a new button down there next to subscribe that says Join. We are officially launching a new YouTube membership tier called Backstage. Now, here's the thing. Backstage is for those people who care about the process, not just the finished product. We're talking about the stuff that usually happens off camera, the real work. When you hit that join button, this is what you're unlocking. Loyalty badges and custom emojis so that you stand out in the comments. Members-only shorts and polls where you actually help me shape the content of this show. Priority replies, meaning when I'm in the comments, I'm seeing you first. And crucial for the real heads, early access to select videos before they go public. Now, I want to be clear, if you don't join, nothing changes. The show you know and love stays exactly the same. We aren't locking things away just to be exclusive. We are creating a space for those who want to go deeper, learn in real time, and get access to my process. So whether you join Backstage or just keep watching and commenting, I appreciate you being here, and we're definitely building something special. Remember, the future doesn't reward nostalgia. It rewards intention. Keep creating, keep pushing the line, and I'll see you, maybe even backstage. Next time, we out.
It's the TrevBeats Show and we out. We out. We out. We out. We out. We out. It's the TrevBeats Show and we out. It's the TrevBeats